Sportsnet. Go ahead.
Paul, what's the message to your group as you face elimination for the first time these playoffs?
That'll be delivered tomorrow, Ken. The idea is, the requirement is to win a game for both teams, and they have to close out a series, and we have to extend it. So from the time that buzzer ended the game to the start, we're preparing for that.
We'll go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Paul, I keep hearing your players say they like parts of their game. I'm wondering, have you seen enough from your team over these 3 games that there's enough for you to build a confidence in winning off of, or does your team need to raise its game way above where you've been?
Yeah, I would say both parts, and they're accurate in that there are pieces to our game tonight that were better than the previous 2. We're going to have to get to another level on a lot of those stick fights. You know, we're not coming up with the pucks that we need to come up with at times, and that's got to be bigger. We skated better through the neutral zone tonight. We had more zone time than we've probably had in terms of puck on our stick. Couple of crossbars. So there's shots that are being taken that are the right ones to take, and we got to get the inside of the bar, not the out.
I'll go back to Sean Reynolds for a follow-up. Go ahead, Sean.
Paul, I know the game plan for days has been getting people to the front of the net. Now, what's it going to take to get there?
Well, speed first, in and on it, and at times, you know, it's a challenge for sure getting net front on that team. They got 4 pretty powerful men back there that keep that area clear. So we got to get some speed to the net. If we can't do it with size, it's got to be done with quickness.
Go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Paul, I think a lot of fans are probably wondering what's happened to that team that played Edmonton in the first round. Now, I know there's 2 teams out there, but what do you say to that?
The 4-0 doesn't tell you the story. That was a tight series. I mean, clearly, you know, overtime games, a 1-0 game, very much like here. We're on the wrong side of it now. God, in terms of quality offense, Edmonton generated quite a bit more on us, but in doing so, we were able to generate enough to win those games. They're very, very tight each game, and they've been better. 2 games in the first period, they were better than we were in the first 3, and that's where we got to start tomorrow.
Go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Thanks, Gregor. Paul, you talked about getting in the middle of the ice through speed, and it seemed like maybe there's more stretching. I know Blake Wheeler had a good chance off of a stretch early and things like that. Are you looking, pardon me, is the angle here to try to give Montreal more looks at their own blue line so you can have that speed?
Sorry, Murat, the last part, is it to try to give, can you ask me that one again, please?
For sure, pardon me. Is the goal with maybe some of the stretching and with the speaking to speed right now to just give yourself more options at their line?
Yeah, I mean, the stretch is a good idea if you can get it there. And if you can't, then you're hemmed up. Like you're talking about a team that will sit quite often. I mean, they're aggressive on the forecheck when they have a chance. And if not, they're going to sit in that neutral zone. There's going to be 5. So stretching into 5 is not a good idea. But if we can move with the pocket and then have options beyond the stretch, then you force them to break up, some of their compactness in the neutral zone.
We'll go next to Jeff Hamilton from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Paul. Third period has been some of your best periods this playoffs. This past third period seemed like it just, Stastny's stick got up there. I think it looked a bit accidental, but the cross check by Pierre-Luc and Kopp's kind of retaliation, is that just tempers overblowing, and can that happen at this point in the series?
Yeah. I would think there's a penalty there on Paul Stastny. It was a pretty tough call because they scored and it went from 3-1 to 4-1. The tempers that flare toward the end of a game in a 4-1 game, I think you see that in playoff hockey.
Go back to Jeff Hamilton for a follow-up. Go ahead, Jeff.
You won't have to sit with this one for very long, Paul. What's your take on playing in less than 24 hours?
Probably good for the team. That I thought Edmonton came out real strong in Game 4. And looked real determined. I think that focus that you have when you have no other option but to win, I think at times can be an advantage for you. So I think we'll be good tomorrow.
Go next to Ted Wyman from the Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Paul, do you sense any frustration with your players because of the tight checking and getting crossbars instead of goals?
Well, that part would be, those guys that hit those crossbars, I mean, they get paid to score goals and they take a lot of pride in that. So that's frustrating. The tight checking would be playoff hockey. There wouldn't be any more frustration in tonight's game than any of the games against Edmonton. That's the way the game's played.
Go next to Sarah Lesky from TSN. Go ahead, Sarah.
Thanks. Paul, Blake mentioned about how this team doesn't have a ton of confidence right now, obviously struggling scoring as well. What is the first step maybe to getting some of that confidence in game 4?
Yeah, get it early. That's the key piece. And when you're having a hard time scoring, you've got to push early as hard as you can, at least to get the good feeling, get the zone time, get pucks to the net, some chances, some looks, and then your confidence will grow from there.
Just a couple more for Coach. We'll go next to Guillaume Lefrancois from La Presse. Go ahead, Guillaume.
Hi, Paul. Adam mentioned, the team having problem with boxing out at times in front of the net. I was wondering if you saw maybe some problems there at times throughout the game.
Yeah, you know what? We both teams have their strengths and they have their weaknesses, and we work hard at that. We got some guys that can do it. We got some young guys back there too that are still learning how to do it.
Final question to Paul Friesen from the Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Paul, do you have some picking up of spirits to do? You sense your team is a bit down.
No, you know what? You go into an NHL room after it loses a game, 10 minutes after, there's not going to be a lot of fun in there right now. So we deal with it that way. We don't want to turn the music on and throw a party here. We just lost another hockey game and we got our backs against the wall, but we start working on tomorrow right after this game. So we do our media and then we start to recover and get better.
Thanks very much, Coach. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back with you at some point pregame tomorrow. Thank you.